Well, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. Happy 2019. I am so excited to be here and start this new journey with you on January 1st of 2019. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Felita Daniely. I am a life coach and also an entrepreneur. Wanted to tell you a little bit about me and a little bit about my story. I started on my journey many years ago. Probably it's been about 20 years ago now. When I started my entrepreneur journey, I discovered my passion for coaching. And all throughout my life, I pretty much have been sort of the go-to person when it came to when people were dealing with different issues in their life and they had questions about issues that they were dealing with in their life. They always came to me and, always asked me questions and wanted to talk. And I was always that person who was very easy to talk to. So when I started my direct sales business, that was when I really, truly discovered my passion for coaching. And so I became a certified life coach about 7 years ago. So I've technically been in the industry for about 20 years because I've been coaching people for about 20 years, but I actually became certified about 7 years ago. So my passion is helping others progress on their personal growth journey. So I am excited to be here to share these weekly coaching calls with you in hopes that you will also see some personal growth in your own life. So thank you so much. Now, if we are not connected on social media, I invite you to connect with me on Instagram. You can find me at Coach Felita. You can also find me on Twitter at Coach Felita, and also on my YouTube channel at Coach Felita as well. And also on Facebook, you can find me at Felita Daniely, or you can find my brand page, which is Turn Up for Your Life Empowerment Coaching. Now, I want to share with you my mission. Okay, the mission of Turn Up for Your Life Empowerment Coaching is to help you to discover and tap into the power within you. Our goal is to support you in reviving, reconnecting, and reigniting your inner flame and passion for life. We guide you on a personal journey so that you can take a look introspectively, so that you can shift and transform your mindset and get to know who you are at the core and find your driving force. You'll be inspired to step into your new life of personal growth, spiritual awareness, and infinite possibilities. And we use the universal laws and spiritual principles as a foundation to help you create and make positive changes and transform your life. So by bridging the gap, we empower you to be who you are, honor your truth, and live your life out loud. Now, I wanted to take a moment and ask you to introduce yourself. If you could just tell me your name and where you are from, and basically how you heard about the call, and what you basically hope to gain from being on the call tonight. I would love to try to pronounce your name, but I can't pronounce your name. I can't hear you. Can you turn your audio? I think your audio is not on. If you have a red stripe going through your audio, that's the reason why I can't hear you. So if you just remove that, turn it on. Okay, try it again. Okay, it looks like it's off now. For some reason, I can't hear you. Okay, there we go. I can hear you now.
Trying to see these phones and technology. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I had you coming through my Bluetooth so I could hear you better.
Okay.
My name is Nadawi. My name is Nadawi Dawkins.
Okay.
I'm actually a newly certified life coach.
Awesome.
Much like you, I've been that go-to person for other people for years.
Okay.
And I was an educator for almost 20 years.
Okay.
When I decided to leave that field, I took some time out and thought about things that, one, that I like to do, two, that I was good at, and three, just being an entrepreneur to start a business for myself where
Mhm.
I can work around my schedule and no one else's.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely can understand that because I took the leap about 22 years ago myself. It's not an easy journey, but I can tell you it's definitely fulfilling and it's also rewarding as well. So what city are you in?
I'm currently in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
Oh, cool. I'm in Atlanta as well. Cool.
So we're definitely going to have to link up then.
Absolutely. 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 Well, thank you so much for introducing yourself. I appreciate that.
No worries.
So on tonight's call, we're going to talk about finding your center. Finding your center. You know, we live in a world that's full of distractions. Everybody wants your attention, you know, from social media to texting to cell phones to televisions to pretty much anywhere and everywhere. You go online, you're looking for something, and you find that one thing will start to follow you all over the internet. And then
Yes.
sometimes you get to a point in your life and you just wonder, you know, with all of these things trying to capture my attention, when do I actually take the time to really center myself because I have so many things outside of me totally keeping me on the rabbit trail. So we have to find that time to find who we are and find that center. Here is a quote from Osho that I absolutely love. He said that without finding your center, there is no satisfaction possible. You can go on searching and you will find many things in life, but nothing is going to satisfy. And I think that is just so powerful because that is so true. Because when we are not centered, we are totally out of alignment with who we are and who we are called to be and what we are called to be. So I thought that was such a powerful quote there. Now let's take a look at finding your center again on a deeper level. And here's another quote that I found from Bob Proctor. He said that your outside world is a reflection of your inside world. And what goes on the inside shows on the outside. So when we see and we find ourselves in our lives where we have total chaos, then we know that total chaos is going on within. When we find ourselves living in in disorganized environments, when we find ourselves constantly losing things, when we find ourselves that just can't seem to pull things together, it's basically telling you that your inside world is not at peace. There's disharmony going on within you. So the inner world is the cause and the outer world is the effect. So in order to change the effect, you must change the cause. There is a universal principle says that for every cause, there is an effect. And this is basically what that universal principle says, that for every cause, there's an equal and opposite effect. So when it comes to relationships, you know, you find people who are constantly complaining that, you know, there's nothing. I hear a lot of females complaining about there's nothing but dogs out here. I hear a lot of men complaining there ain't no good women out here. You know, when it comes to relationships, people fail to realize that you're only attracting who you are. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't like to accept the fact that the people that we meet and the people who come into our experience are a direct reflection of who we are. Now, whether or not it be good or whether or not it be bad, however you look at it and whatever your perspective is, you have to understand that each person is your teacher. They are there to teach you something that you need to experience or something that you need to heal within your own self. So let's look at some of the causes. You know, most of the time when it comes to stress, many of us, we find ourselves totally overwhelmed. You know, we have jobs, we're working on jobs that are totally not fulfilling to us. We find ourselves trying to keep up with the Joneses, and we end up going out, getting ourselves overextended, purchasing things that we know we cannot afford, and therefore we find ourselves can't sleep at night because we're worrying about how we're going to pay the bills. Then we get back up on the next morning after we have not had enough rest throughout the night. Then we find ourselves running on the rat race all over again, facing and going into jobs that we absolutely hate, and that continues to cause the stress to build up. That continues to cause the anxiety to build up. That continues to cause the headaches to build up. And so once the mind is not at ease, it sets up dis-ease within the body. So we have to learn how to manage these causal factors outside of ourselves so that we can live our lives in harmony. So when you look at this picture here, it's a very, very good, very good description of how everybody is constantly after our attention. You know, you got your kids saying, Mom, can we go here? Can we go there? You know, you might have your spouse or your partner saying, well, we were supposed to go here this week and we were supposed to go here that week. Then you trying to figure out, well, how do I follow up with all of my friends on social media? And then you're trying to keep up with everything at work. Then you're bringing work home, or you have so many other things that's pulling at you that yourself, your inner self, your inner self is telling you to calm down. But for some reason, we continue to allow the things outside of ourselves to continue to control us. We'll buy the books. We end up with so many books and we never complete the one. We end up with so many texts. Remember to text back. We got messages coming in on the cell phone. We've got messages coming in on text messages. We got messages coming in on Messenger. We got so many things trying to grab our attention that it's keeping us totally out of alignment with who we are and what we are called to be and to do. And what happens is that we find ourselves lost in the chaos. And basically, deep within your soul is calling you. It's that still small voice that's speaking to you. But because of so many outside distractions, we can't seem to connect. We can't seem to connect because we have allowed the world to control everything in our lives that keeps us out of balance. So here is one of my favorite scriptures from the Bible, from Romans 12:2. It says to do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So in order for us to find that center, we must renew our minds. We must tell ourselves that we cannot be controlled and we cannot conform to the things of the world. We have to stay true to ourselves. We have to stay true to who we are so that we are not conformed to the world. But each and every day that we are given another leash on life and we are blessed among the living to wake up, it's an opportunity for us to be intentional and to set forth the intentions of being in control of everything within our world. Now, here is one question that we all have to ask ourselves. When was the last time you checked in with yourself? When was the last time you asked yourself, what do you want? And how do you feel? You know, this is one of the biggest questions that I think a lot of us, many of us, need to ask ourselves. because that still small voice, your soul, is calling you to just pay attention, to slow down and follow the voice within. But with all of the distractions, it's so easy to follow everything outside of ourselves. So here's the question again. When was the last time you checked in with yourself? When was the last time you asked yourself what you want and how you feel? So now is the time to take a moment to just slow down. It's time to pull back from the stresses and the strains of life. And it's time to take a moment to just go within and to connect with your spiritual self. I know it's very, very challenging at times because we have so many things pulling at us. It's very, very challenging a lot of times to just pay attention. It's very challenging just to pay attention. I did a vision board workshop this past weekend, and there was a couple of people in there, couldn't even focus, couldn't even pay attention because they were so distracted by the cell phone. And that's what's happening, is that when we continue to give all of the things outside of us and we continue to conform, we become default. We become basically people who are not in control, people who are totally controlled by our outside environment. So it's time for us to slow down, take a moment, pull back, and release the stress and the strain and listen to what your soul is calling you to do. Now, here's another quote. We cannot improve the world if we are conformed to the world. And I truly believe that we all are called according to our purpose. But unfortunately, we cannot live our purpose if we are continuing to be conformed to the world. That quote is by Neil A. Maxwell. So here's a centering exercise that I always like to do. Whenever I find myself being off balance, and whenever I find myself out of harmony, I take a moment to just be still. And what I do is I take a moment and I close my eyes, I lay my hands over my heart, and I take deep breaths. And just release. And just speak to yourself and say to yourself, find your center. Find your center. Find your center. And as you speak to yourself by placing that command to find yourself, your conscious mind is merging with the subconscious mind, which is bringing a marriage of the two. And you'll be amazed at how your thoughts will start to come into alignment. You'll have more control. You won't allow the things outside of you to continue to take control and just run rapid. You will have more control when you slow down, learn to center yourself by using this simple exercise. Even in the middle of traffic, you could be stuck in the middle of traffic. And when you find yourself getting, when you find yourself getting really, really overwhelmed and you find that anxiety really, really flowing, it's a time for you to just be still. Sometimes you just have to pull over and say, okay, let me get control of myself. Because the more we allow the frustration and the more we allow the anxiety to take over, it puts our bodies in fight or flight mode. And so when your body is in fight or flight mode, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So you want to make sure that you stay centered in who you are so that you can always be in control of all of your circumstances and all of your situations. So here is an opportunity for you to invest in yourself. I want to invite you to become a coaching client. You know, many times we invest in a lot of things. You know, we invest in a lot of material things. We invest in things that are very, very menial. But when it comes to actually helping, and we know a lot of times that we need that support. We need to be able to connect with someone to help us in our lives to grow personally and to overcome many of the challenges that we have in our life. So many times people may ask, why is it that I need a coach? Well, you basically need a coach if you are committed. You know, if you really, really want to succeed and you really want to grow on a personal level, working with a life coach is committed to working with you to help you to succeed. And also, you'll need a coach if you really want to be able to provide a wider vision of your current situation. And a coach will also help you to get back on track and help you to measure your progress. I personally enjoy working with a coach myself to keep myself accountable, because I found that as an entrepreneur, many times we can make promises to other people, but we totally, totally don't keep the promise to ourselves. So we all need to have an accountability partner to keep us on track and to keep us in alignment with what we said that we were going to do and to hold ourselves accountable to our word. Now, a coach also inspires you to become a better version of yourself. So you may find yourself at the same place. You find yourself not progressing in life. You find yourself just still stuck in the same situation and you're not making any progress. So you need to be working with a coach. Now, a coach can also help you to destroy any limitations that's holding you back at this moment, okay? And a coach can also help you condition your mind for success and also for happiness. Now, I invite you to schedule a 20-minute complimentary discovery session with me. And you can visit my website by going to www.coachfulleader.com/services, or you can send an email to turnupforyourlife@gmail.com. And let's see if we would be a good fit together to work together to help you on your personal growth and development. Now I'm going to take this time to open it up to Q&A and see if there are any questions. Do you have any questions? Is it Nadwali?
Nadawi. It's pronounced Nadawi. I was just trying to get your website.
Okay, sure. It's www.coachfulita.com. COACHFELITA.com.
Okay.
Here it is right here. coachfulita.com. And I have services here because that's where you can actually schedule, if you're interested in scheduling a 20-minute complimentary discovery session with me, you can go there.
I've just been taking notes I've been taking notes and trying to multitask, as you said. Everybody's always pulling us to do different things.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And
thank you for having me. I appreciate.
If you're interested in doing something within the Atlanta area, maybe, you know, partnering, doing some coaching classes or something that you may be interested in, you know, connecting with here in Atlanta, maybe we can get together and do some brainstorming or something. Okay?
Absolutely. I would love that. And I will definitely be contacting you through your website so that we can have further conversations.
Great. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for making me accountable with the emails. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thanks again for joining me tonight. Many blessings to you, okay? And I look forward to connecting, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Be blessed.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay.